So, thank you for having me today, and I certainly, lots of great presentations, and to be honest, maybe 100% is already taken in this morning's sessions, but I'll try to give you a spin from, let's say, from a different angle that is a bit unknown to consumers, right? Because if you think about ingredients that go into the food business, it's a world that is a bit hidden to consumers. We are essentially, somebody will say, the Intel inside of the food business. And so I'll try to give you a little bit of perspective of how that works. And now, as a company, but also as an industry, in the end, trying to help this quest basically to make food nutritious and obviously more available. So first of all, a bit about Givaudan. For those that don't know, as Florence said, is the largest manufacturer of flavor and fragrances, but we do a bit beyond that too, because we have ingredients that basically are for health benefits. We have also natural colors. We are actually number 2 in the world now. And then we have also cosmetics, active cosmetics. But if you look at what we do, is we create ingredient solutions that basically go across almost any product in the personal care and food business. So imagine today, it's very likely that when you woke up, you either ate something with Givaudan inside, or maybe you showered or took a perfume with Givaudan inside. So the company is very big because also it's important to cater for the needs of consumers. At the end of the day, consumers, thank God, by the way, we are all different across the world. We all have different habits, different ways of working, doing things. And taste is, as well as smell, is actually the difference. And that's why we have so many sites. We are actually almost everywhere. It's unbelievable. It feels like an embassy. Wherever you go in a country, actually can knock at the door of someone that is actually from the company. But still, it's a small company. I mean, if I look at the size, of course, of, say, a Nestlé, a large company, it's small. But it's really this connection to the market that is super important. If I talk about my division, which is Taste and Wellbeing, which is all about food, supplements, we want to go beyond just, the taste and the ingredient per se. It's really about this vision of creating these food experiences for consumers that, together with the customer, we want to create, we want to develop, and it's about do good, feel good for the body, for the mind, and the planet. So with sustainability in mind. Now, going back to AI and digital, in all this quest of creating the food experiences, AI is starting to play a huge role. It's simply because, historically, the companies like mine, they've been holding lots of data. I mean, think about all these consumer preferences, all these different formulations, these different ingredients. And all in a sudden, with AI, we can make these at the fingertip. So available at the fingertip. And that's what really creates the opportunity here to speed up our processes wherever they are in the value chain. And we'll talk about this. So integrating digital has been really one of the basic pillars, let's say, for us in this quest of the future of food. And I'll tell you a little bit more how we actually develop things. And I will say, the sky is the limit. Really, nothing is over. There is a lot that we can do. And I was discussing earlier on as well. This is a world where, there is evolution. Evolution, also the tools that will help us, to do more and more in this space. So when we talked earlier on in the other presentation, my colleagues here, is really about the value chain. Ingredients, like everything else, require the value chain. Building the value chain will make things fly. And I want to reflect on where digital in my value chain, let's say from my angle, from an ingredient developer, up to essentially working with the consumer products through my customer, end up finally into consumers, right? And so I will analyze each piece, but let's say the fundamental parts of the value chain are the ingredient discovery, because we need to develop new solution, new technology, and all the rest. This is very much the front end of the whole value chain. We need to know how to make this stuff. And I'm telling you, sometimes it's not trivial at all. There are many ingredients. Today, actually, we discover ingredients that have an impact at ppb. They are present in food. They are present they're present even in plants. ppb level. You understand, it's 1 part in a billion. So to produce such an ingredient out of a plant or harvesting plants, it would be absolutely impossible. So we need to find a way to produce this stuff. The third part is the formulation development, because finally what we develop for clients is formulations. Formulation that go into the food product, and understanding how to make these in a very efficient way is crucial. And then the last part is actually the final consumer product, making sure that we understand together, with the customer, how this would look like and how would effectively be made, that will be essentially put in the front of consumers, right? And be successful, because finally, as we said, taste is super important, but it's also nutrition, it's also sustainability, many different parameters, and cost, of course, availability, affordability. All this plays in an equation that we need to resolve, and AI, again, can play a role here. So let me start a bit with ingredient discovery. This is a space that I'm super excited because it's also a bit new in the sense, but also it's the bread and butter of what I do every day. So we need to continue developing discovering new ingredients, because it's all about new products, new ingredients that are used every day. I give an example. Everybody's drinking now these high proteins product, perhaps, or eating high protein products. Again, finding way to make these products taste better, especially if they have off notes, is a very common type of quest. But it's also about putting more fiber. So making the products more nutritious will create inevitably challenges. Let's face it. It's the way it is, and consumer don't typically like, right, products that have high fibers, as an example. So to make these products taste good, we need the ingredients to mask, to enhance, basically, these products. It's also about replacing raw materials. If you want to create affordability, if you want to also have more people having access to more food, we can't just expect everybody gets let's say, the most costly commodity in the world, and this will be used at scale. So how to make these products scalable? We can help there, because we can replace many of these with affordability and with also nutrition in mind. It's also about replacing sugar and salt. It's a big topic everywhere. People loved sugar and salt. Products, of course, contain sugar and salt, but how can you do that with much less salt, much less sugar? And again, it's another aspect on nutrition, balanced nutrition. And finally, it's also about the health benefits, because food, and we discussed, we don't have all the answers. Elias was hinting to this earlier on, but of course, we research new ingredients. We research ingredients that could go into our fruit products, and as we get to know more how our bodies react to those and how good they are, they will help us definitely in our quest to maybe go to the 120 years or beyond. So this part is how I'm using today in the discovery space. So I'll start really with the discovery. With all these questions in mind, what I need to do, basically one aspect that I'm working on with AI is data mining, the whole world of natural ingredients. Of course, I can go and search plants all over the world, and we did this stuff. So we actually went to Amazon forest picking, special plants, but it's a lot of work. It's very unstructured in this approach, right? You try to search for the unknown. Here we are going in a different direction. We are actually looking at the space of molecules in the world that are natural, and what are the areas where we haven't touched that can have functionality. And with the right understanding of the functionality I'm looking for, and with the right modeling as well, or in the sense of, what is the ingredient and what is the performance of the ingredient, I'm able actually to identify new solutions, let's say, for sugar enhancement, or perhaps for health benefits of some sort. And of course, we are not the only ones in the world doing this, but of course, this is something that we've been internally. We've been building internally for our own needs, very, very, very specialized. The second part is the ingredient manufacturer. So I told you earlier, I can find these ingredients. Sometimes they are very low. How do we make this stuff? And so here again, of course, there are processes that help us doing this. I mean, of course, be careful. I say chemical there. You're not consumers, but if I put chemical there, consumers will shy away. But everything is chemical. I'm a chemical engineer, Florian said that. And you know, even when you cook at home, it's chemical, right? You're making your flavors while you're cooking. And that's a chemistry that you're doing. And what we do internally, you know, from my perspective, when we create new flavors, new flavor ingredients, is really about utilizing the same kitchen technique. There could be either a fermentation or a Maillard reaction, typically cooking process. And these are very, very much natural processes. And I'm trying to use as much as I can these processes to direct them where I want to go. And it's really amazing what we can do, really also with AI, to be much more predictive. Because there are some areas, for those that study chemistry, actually getting, you know, a Maillard reaction sorted out is super challenging. And but I mean, the unknowns that we don't have, we cannot really get to know from, let's say, our science base can really be addressed also with a bit more of an empirical approach that we use using AI here. The same thing is also about researching enzymes, because enzymes are so important in biotech process. They're about converting natural raw materials into other ingredients. Of course, it's a basic of the fermentation process, and identify these enzymes is really one of the keys where we use actually AI as a way to really fast detect which ones are the ones that really do the job for us. So 2 different examples of where we can actually use digital to speed up actually the innovation process in this case, and getting, for me, the ingredients that otherwise would be impossible to harvest from agriculture. I'm honest with you. My dream will be actually that my factories only have water, you know, CO2 from the air and solar panels, and that's it. And then I can get all what I need. Of course, it's a journey to get there, but definitely it's something that we should not stop working on. Formulation development. So I told you about the you know, the opportunity really to develop formulations. These are really the core of the products that we sell. It's ingredients that are combined together to make an impact. It could be taste, as an example. Here, you know, we go typically to in this search of the food experience for consumer, we go through these 3 steps, you know, inspire, create, and validate. They're typically the steps that we use. And each one of those has an opportunity from an AI point of view, because of course what I'm doing whenever I'm talking to my customers is really to get as much as possible at the fingertip all the data I need to inspire basically my customer in new product development. And I want to mention a couple of examples here. So one is Atom. Actually, thank you for referring to this. Is a beautiful platform that we started already about 10 years ago, and it started from a simple, let's put it like this, design of experiment. Because of course, when you try to formulate for a specific product, for a specific target, what you do, you need to do trial and error. In the past, it was trial and error. And imagine I would make my flavor, I would actually send it to my customer will test it, then I will get feedback, then I will go back again. Now, you know, I can remove these so many iterations, because the system, in the way it is now, contains a lot of information, data that is about sensory performance, nutrition, is about regulatory, is about color, texture, the complexity, the number of variables that are included in this model, and with the data set that we have, helps then basically generate 1, 2, 3 iterations that are likely to win. And that's what drives me to get even more performance in terms of salt reduction, in terms of sugar reduction, in terms of, you name it, higher proteins and so forth. So is really limiting the amount of trial that I need to do with my customer to get to the solution that will hit the sweet spot of the consumers. And with that, we have also an array of machines that also help us. There is hardware behind as well that helps collect the data. And we have these two systems actually. One is called Minivas, another one is Myromi. Myromi is essentially is a miniaturized unit there. But what they do is that they help create on the spot flavors. So that if you sit together, you can really in real time get the feeling. You can actually smell the product and understand what the product will look like. But it's also great to collect lots of information from consumers in the end. So let me talk about the last piece, which is the consumer product. And of course, it's not our job, generally to do consumer product. But like I said, we always inspired by trying to inspire customers, of course, but also trying to inspire ourselves in what the product could be for the consumers. Because consumers they always need to be at the forefront of whatever we do. If you don't target the right audience, we'll be in trouble. So what we developed is this system called UBI, and that's a generative AI system, in fact, and I'm sure many of you in your companies might have this, but I want to give a bit of a perspective from, again, what I do. And, in the past, as an example, for the things that I needed to do, I had to create a product concept. And the product concept for a customer, let's say to inspire a customer with my products, with my ingredients, I will need to basically show, I will need to research what consumer group am I looking for, what kind of graphics, what kind of look, the look of the final product. Which market, many different variables. It will take a long time, and then you will need experts to actually make even the nice graphics and all the rest. Now with this, the fingertip, and actually that's the beauty, is that I can really get a lot of data. Just at the fingertip. I will input my parameters, my variables, and I can create a product concept, and even the marketing campaign, which is beautiful. And it takes just an hour instead of actually weeks. And so for me, is mind-blowing. What I like, and we talked about change management before, is the simplicity of the tool. The tool is so simple that basically is democratizing an exercise that otherwise would have been requiring lots of experts around the table and of course time. So it's very easy and quick to access. The other part that it does, of course, is giving me really a view of very fast on with the data that is ours, right? It's this sensory data, this formulation data that is very unique. That makes also the product concept very unique in the sense because it leverages our knowledge there. So with that, I want to say. I love the concept of value chain. Value chain, of course, is, I've spoken to you about the value chain where I'm engaging with consumers, with customers, but there are also other partners in the whole value chain that help all the time across, in the development and all the rest. Nevertheless, I think that the AI helps really bridging the gap and making us go faster and more efficient along these various steps. And of course, the sky is the limit here in terms of where it can go in the future to actually create a much more and seamless process for me today. Thank you very much.
Many thanks, Fabio Campanile from Givaudan. We do the audience questions. I have just one I was wondering about. Questions to Fabio.
Don't ask me the fries.
No, we're done with fries. We're done with coffee. And by the way, Mar, I prefer an espresso as well. I'm a lazy bastard. It's just a capsule done. All right, questions to Fabio. You've been crystal clear, Fabio. So
Or
I've
maybe
got
not clear.
no, crystal clear by all means. Funny enough, Elias from UC Davis, he mentioned Givaudan in one of his slides as a positive example. I think it was Atom you mentioned, right, Elias? Right. That wasn't a backroom deal, was it? No?
No.
You didn't know each other before?
No. Later.
They're making now backroom deals. Anyway, so could one say Atom was really a lighthouse project for Givaudan? Or is it just one of many classical examples of the application of AI in your line of industry?
No, I mean, as I said, yeah, of course, there are many different steps, and I showed things that are, of course, in the make, things that are already there. But Atom definitely is an amazing tool. And again, I want to highlight two things. One is the tool being already doing the job, and it's a platform. It's not a tool. It's a platform that can always evolve to create, to add more complexity, but make life easier for me and the customer. That's basically the idea. But the other part is the adoption. Is that it went so fast in the adoption that in every corner on the Givaudan planet, let's say, everybody is using it, and they see the value when they engage with customers. So for me, these are the two elements that are also how to make the complexity easier internally to make it happen.
Didn't you experience on the journey to create Atom and to introduce it to your whole workforce all over the planet? Did you encounter similar problems that people went like, oh, it doesn't really work, let's forget about it, or not enough time, I think is a clue. Did you experience similar stuff like that has been described this morning?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these things are always the case. To overcome this, the beauty was to have a very dedicated team that helps. It's like on demand. They are available and they're working with the team to actually do the job. And so this created really an opportunity to train lots of experts at the end, because they all became experts, and so it's really also having this team at the back that could do the change management. Otherwise, it's tough, right? You drop it if nobody helps you. I do the same with my computer if it doesn't work.
Oh, I know that. I think we have audience questions. There's one, please.
Thank you, Fabio, for the great presentation. Very inspiring. I do have a question regarding OBI, or OBI, I don't know how you say it. I do understand that AI is a real opportunity when it comes to process optimizing or prediction, but I'm always, let's say, curious about creativity and creating new stuff. And of course, we talk about our boundless creativity, but how do you feed the tool to make sure that we don't end up with always the same new idea or new creative stuff, and how we can unlock the serendipity that sometimes happen when it comes to innovative ideas?
I love your question, actually, because there is a bit of the balance that we need to find. It's early stage from today. To be honest, I don't feel that today we have that risk, but